This video could alternately be titled "The One Where Les Learns Not to Make Promises She Can't Keep." So once again, I am back in the forest, and what that means is the internet situation is tricky. Remember how I said I was back in the land of internet and here to stay? That turns out to be incorrect. So where I am right now, I once again am without internet to upload anything, which has been making putting up videos rather tricky, but hopefully it will begin to be something that I can work better around, and I will have more to share with you, like this excellent book today. Today I want to talk about First and Then, which is the debut novel from Emma Mills, who, if you don't know her from her extremely popular YouTube channel Elmify, you very much should. I have been watching her videos for an incredibly long time now. She is a very, very funny, talented young lady who also happens to be excellent at writing songs about narwhals with arthritis, which happens to be one of my favorite things to make me feel better when I'm sad. This is a fabulous book, which I have read twice now, and both of those readings took place in the same 7 days, because I pretty much finished it and turned it over and reread it again the next day. I was so impressed and thrilled with the book that this is. This book is a YA novel about a girl named Dev, who is a high school senior, and her cousin Foster, who is thrown into her life when she least expects it and is living with her now. Her life pretty much consists of going to school and having a crush on her best friend who was on the football team at school, and him sort of being a little bit ignorant of anything going on other than the two of them being best friends. And Foster winds up being very, very talented at football and attracting a lot of attention to both himself and subsequently to her, which is the last thing that she wants. She suddenly is thrown into gym class with both her cousin and the most popular star of the football team. His name is Ezra Linley. And suddenly things begin to shift in her social life and her academic life and pretty much everything surrounding high school, because Ezra and Foster get to know each other a little bit better and play for the same team, and that is all I will say, because many things happen from there, and this story is just so well laid out and wonderful and poignant and witty and humorous, and it's almost everything you could possibly want in a book. The book does center a lot around high school football, which is something I know absolutely nothing of. I think I went to one game in high school just to say that I had done it, but never attended any others, so the title and the cleverness of the title were lost on me until the second time I read it, and I had bothered to ask someone who knew about football why this might be relevant. But it is very, very clever. I love the character of Foster. He is just this young teenage boy who is definitely in need of some time away from the situation he used to be in, and he needs someone who will be sort of like a sister to him, which is sort of the role that Dev has thrust at her. I think she does a really good job in her mind and in the text grappling with that and what it means to stop being an only child and start being something to someone that she's never known how to do before. The plot moves very quickly along, but it doesn't feel very rushed. Like I said, it's rather poignant, so there's a lot of reflection on Dev's part, her trying to suss out how other people might be thinking of situations, her sort of trying to figure out what she wants from her own life. She has to consider this whole do I go to college sort of scenario. It's actually where the book opens, with her sort of meeting with the leader of the Road to College Club, and her looking at her resume and her essay and sort of deciding what she wants to do after high school, because she's been ignoring it up until this point. So Dev sort of goes throughout this book really only having one friend, and that's Cass, which is short for Cassidy. He's, as I said before, he's also on the football team, until Foster comes along, and they sort of have to befriend each other because they live in the same house. She also sort of comes back into contact with this girl that she knows a little bit. Her name is Lindsay, who is like this astonishingly beautiful, really bright, wonderful, popular person who Dev does not see herself even remotely close to, and doesn't think that they would be really great friends. And so they sort of have to foster this sort of working relationship as their stories grow closer together. The main sort of romantic interest in this novel, Ezra Linley, who is this sort of very strong, handsome, silent football player who is just transferred from another school and doesn't really know what to say to anyone and doesn't really know how to be friends with anyone, and he just finds communicating with people very, very challenging. So he's a really interesting character. He sort of reminded me a little bit of Mr. Rochester, if you've ever read Jane Eyre, just sort of like this huffy person who takes a step back from everything, and he's quiet. And Mr. Rochester, of course, is like a little more socialized and has all of that to live up to, but Ezra Linley had many Rochester qualities in being quiet and reserved and sort of just observing everyone from afar and then only saying what he meant, which never was particularly nice. He sort of had to work into learning how to be kinder in this book, but he definitely started out with a very somber attitude. And then, of course, my absolute favorite character in this novel, his name is Jordan. He also plays on the football team, and he is described often at parties as holding court. He's very funny, he's very good looking, a little bit wise beyond his years, and he and Dev, they definitely get along very well, and he is just a delight whenever he comes up in the novel. So I waited for this book for literal years, ever since I heard that it was going to be published, and I am so happy to say that I give this 5 out of 5 stars. I highly recommend this to anyone who loves a good contemporary YA novel. You will definitely enjoy it. If you have also read it, please let me know down in the comments. I would love more than anything to chat about this with you for sure, and I can't wait to see what Emma Mills writes next. So thank you all so very much for watching. I will be more consistent with videos as I sort out this whole internet living in the forest situation again, and I hope you're having lovely weeks and lovely lives, and we'll see you very, very soon.